Hey guys, welcome back to another video of me building random shit in Minecraft while I talk about relationships. So lately I've been seeing more and more people, especially men, struggling pretty heavily when it comes to getting into relationships. And honestly, I feel that. Like especially nowadays, the dating market is just complete ass in every single way, and honestly, it's pretty jading to say the least. Whether it's going weeks without getting a single match, getting ghosted on your dates, or simply put, just dealing with genuinely shitty people all the fucking time. But one of the main motivators for this video wasn't just to complain about that, but it actually came from a conversation I had with one of my friends who is currently attempting to get out of being single. So to give you some background, he just started talking to another girl after basically being used by the last woman he was with, and one of the things he frequently complained about was not being able to find a partner who was willing to actually commit to him. Like he recently started going on those dates with that new girl, and in turn has been asking me for a lot of advice on how to proceed with not fucking this one up. And honestly, with the advice I've been giving him, so far it's been working out great. So I figured it would be a great idea to share some of that advice that I gave him to all of you guys as well, so that hopefully you can do the same. Now, before I do that though, I want to go ahead and give you some of my background really quick about my experiences with this topic, so that you can get an understanding of where I come from. So, to get this started, before I met my long-term girlfriend, I struggled incredibly heavily when it came to dating. Honestly, a part of me thought that I was going to die alone with how exhausting everything came to be. Like, I went ahead and scheduled all these dates, spent hours of my time and energy into finding the one. I'd meet up for coffee or drinks, feel like the dates are going incredibly well, just to be ghosted or left for the 14th other guy that she was talking to. It's like, dude, why do I even bother with going on all these dates when the only thing I seem to get out of them is just disappointment at the end of the day? And with every shitty date, I always felt like I was worthless at the end of the day, and it was hard to have any hope whatsoever. But here's what I realized. My issue wasn't that I wasn't enough, it was that I learned to prioritize everything other than myself. And after coming to that realization and actually implementing some of the tips I'm going to be giving you today, I managed to actually find a lot of success in the dating market and was able to land a partner who made it all worth it in the end. So with that being said, how can we do the same exact thing for you? Alright, well, the first bit of advice I'm going to give you is actually one of the most obvious. Get your ass into the gym. Oh great, another fucktard telling me that I need to be jacked in order to get into a relationship. What next? Talk to women? Well, not exactly. I think it's pretty common for people to assume that women only want dudes who are shredded, or guys only want women who spend 3 hours of doing nothing but Bulgarian split squats and RDLs in the gym in order to get an ass that makes her look like a penis whenever she stands up. But the truth is, that's bullshit. What I came to realize is that the big thing that people want, men and women alike, in a partner is somebody who actually values themselves at the end of the day. And that's what I fucked up early on in my life. The reason why I tell you to go to the gym isn't so that you can develop a massive buff physique, it's so that you can actually learn how to take care of yourself. Before I started going to the gym regularly, I had very little confidence in myself, and I attribute a huge portion of that to not pushing myself out of my comfort zone more and more and doing shit that actually benefited me in some capacity. I can definitively say that the gym has allowed me to become a better person, not only physically, but also mentally. Like, for instance, I'm no longer that overweight, shy kid that I was before, who always got pushed around, and I was able to achieve goals I set out for myself that past me could only ever dream of. Like, with each new PR I hit, with each pound I lost, and each goal that I reached, I became more and more confident. I was able to get a body I felt proud of, I'm no longer insecure whenever I take off my shirt, and I actually have confidence in myself when I go out in public, and it was all solely because I started lifting. Now that confidence itself is what translated to success in my dating market more than anything else. I learned my value more and more, and I honestly wasn't scared to talk to women once I became more confident. Like I knew that I was attractive, and in turn I stopped self-sabotaging or psyching myself out whenever I flirted with a woman that I thought was cute, and it all started because I got my ass in the gym. So here's what I want from you. I want you to do the same exact thing. Now I will stress, it doesn't have to be lifting as long as it's something physical. Running, calisthenics, martial arts, whatever. It doesn't matter as long as it helps you achieve the physique that you want, not what society expects. Like you can always start small. Are you insecure about your weight, for instance? Change up your diet and go for a walk to shed some pounds. And slowly you'll become more and more content with not only your body, but yourself as well as you continue to reach these goals. Additionally, another thing that the gym served to do for me was making people realize that I actually took myself seriously at the end of the day. The biggest piece of advice that I internalized was be the partner that you want. Like, I knew I wanted a partner that took care of themselves, was loyal, and took pride in their appearance. So naturally, when you do the same exact thing, people in turn will notice. And if that all comes from going to the gym, then it's about time you go. Be that partner that you want. Alright, so go to the gym. What next? The second biggest thing that helped me out the most when it came to dating was being direct with what I wanted. Honestly, this is probably one of the most important principles we're going to cover here because it opens up so many doors for you in life when you cut out all the fluff and bullshit. So, what do I mean by be direct? I mean telling the dude or girl you're trying to be with exactly how you feel. Like previous in my life, I was always terrified of making people uncomfortable by telling them how I felt or what I wanted. And in turn, my dating prospects always turned into a fucked up game of not wanting to be the first person to ask the other person out in case it made them uncomfortable. And I get it because what if they don't like me? And what if I make it awkward? But what I later realized, especially after meeting my current partner, is that for women at least, the vast majority of them would rather you tell them exactly how you feel so that you don't have to sit there and constantly guess their intentions. And inherently, whenever you do put your feelings out there, you become more and more trustworthy as a result. Because guess what? You don't have to hide who you are, and in turn, people don't need to question whether or not you're just going to use them for sex or just axe murder them. So just fucking say, I really, really like you and would love to go with you out on a date instead of just sugarcoating everything because in the end, it really just makes you come off as a pushover. Worst case scenario, they just tell you that they're not interested and boom. You don't have to waste any more of your time when that prospect wasn't actually going to pan out, no matter what way you approached it. Now, I gave this bit of advice to my friend before he ended up asking out the girl he's currently seeing, and it worked out wonderfully for him. Originally, he was hesitant to do so because he didn't want to make her uncomfortable. But after I told him to just straight up say that you want to go out with her romantically, he was able to immediately set up a time and a place, not even a few messages afterwards. Even with my current girlfriend now, she said one of the things she appreciated the most in me was that I didn't leave her guessing whether or not she was even wanted whenever we first met. And it was solely because I stopped making everything not so fucking complicated and just told her how it was. Alright, so with the first 2 points out of the way, what's the last? If there's any bit of advice I want you to follow, it's going to be this one. It's actually being your own person, and there's a weird phenomenon out there where it seems like as soon as you get a girlfriend, that's when the single ladies start hitting you up. And I always questioned why that was until I later found the answer. The reason why was because I was comfortable with being myself whenever I was in a relationship, and I didn't have to constantly have tried to appeal to women. I had my opinions, my own views, and didn't need to prove myself to everybody around me. And in turn, women enjoyed that confidence. They saw that I was secure and in turn found it attractive, so you should start doing the same exact thing. Now, that doesn't mean paying an escort to roleplay as your girlfriend to try to get women to pay you attention. Not in this economy, especially. But rather, it means not being afraid to be yourself and not perpetually trying to prove yourself to others. People will and can pick up on your desperation, whether or not you're just trying to get in their pants or saying whatever bullshit you think they want to hear. So knock that shit off. Speak your mind and speak it freely, pick up hobbies that you enjoy, and not shit that you think would make you look cool. For example, when I met my girlfriend, I would just nerd out about jujitsu, video games, and fucking houseplants, and she loved that shit because she could tell that I wasn't just trying to impress her. So do the same thing, man. Like, you're inherently valuable at the end of the day. If you have to sit there and reaffirm it through your words and actions, then I hate to break it to you, but it has the opposite effect. When you do that sort of thing, you just come off as insecure, and that's the sort of thing that will drive people away. Drop the bullshit, keep it simple, and be a real person instead of the idea of a perfect man or woman that you want them to think you are. Alright, so with all that out of the way, this brings me to the end of the video, and to recap some of the things we talked about here, if you want success out in this fucked up dating world, then start by developing yourself into your own person. Learn to be confident with yourself, unless if that means you stab homeless people in alleyways, then instead maybe go to therapy and find God instead. But assuming that's not you, by learning to prioritize yourself through the gym, hobbies, and actually speaking your mind, then I guarantee you will be more successful when it comes to finding a partner worth keeping. You deserve to be happy. I know you have what it takes to reach these goals that you set for yourself, and I know you have it. You got this, man. Take care, and until next time.